week I had Aaron Vogler, the man, the myth, the legend, the 16-year-old, never quit, never tire, Aaron Vogler. He came on last week. If you missed that call, it was phenomenal. By the way, let me go ahead and just at everyone so we can get this piping. We had a good crowd today. I'm feeling sweaty. I'm feeling hot, but it's okay. We're going to keep going. Okay. Last week, we said, hey, let's do something different. Excuse me. Let's, instead of interviewing people or interviewing somebody who's having success, interviewing somebody who just got a deal or 2 deals or 5 deals or 10K or 20K, let's do the opposite. Let's go and interview somebody that's struggling. Let's go interview somebody that we know is working hard. They're doing the things they need to do, but they're just not having success. And I kind of put that out there for everybody. And I had some people direct message me, and I went to Ashley and I went to Kyle and I said, hey, here's our options. Who should we have on the call? And all of us were like, let's get Aaron. Let's get Aaron. He's hustling. He's positive. He's sold on the model. And he's 16 years old, and we freaking just love the fact that he's got that hustle. I can't even imagine what I was doing at 16 years old. I tried not to think about it. So we brought him on last week, and we went over it, and we said, okay, Aaron, we just broke it down. How many pitches have you done? Well, okay, how many were actually pitches? Okay, what about qualification? We just dug into what he's done. And then I put him on the spot, and I said, let's do a role play. Let's role play this out, man. And I did not give him any warning, and he hopped on. You guys saw it. He crushed it, right? Absolutely crushed it. And all we did is we basically just helped him get clear on where he was making the error, on where he may be stumbling, where he may be making a mistake. And I didn't know it would happen this quick, but lo and behold, within a few days, our boy Aaron, who's been grinding, guys, I can't wait to bring him on and ask him all these questions. He's on right now. I'm going to bring him on here in 2 seconds. Who has been grinding, who has been hustling, who's been doing this when most kids are playing Xbox, most kids are chasing tail, most kids are doing stupid stuff that kids do, like lighting bags of shit on fire on porches. That was me. Or peeing in garbage cans mixed with water and tipping them against the door and knocking on the door until it opens and it pee on their feet. These are all the things that I was doing at 16 years old, not what Aaron's doing. So I'm excited. We're going to bring Aaron back on, and we are going to ask him about his deal, dig into his deal, ask him what happened and what changed from last week to this week. Any questions that you guys have, I want you to get them ready. Start dropping them in the comments. I got a bunch of questions for him. I'm excited for this one, guys. Let me bring on Mr. Aaron Vogler. Aaron, let's go. All right. With that said, let me get a drink of water. I actually have a Diet Coke. Let's drink the Diet Coke. Aaron Vogler, can you hear me, bro? Aaron freaking Vogler, the man, the myth, the legend. There he is. There he is. Can you hear me? I can see him. I can see him. Can you guys see him? It's still black. Come on. Woo! Nice crack. Aaron, are you there? You're still muted and I can't see your face, but if you can unmute and show us your face, we would be much appreciative. While he's doing that, I am going to look and see what we've got in terms of questions. Jakob said hello. Robert said that's my guy. Robert said when he was 16, he was playing Minecraft, Skyrim, and GTA for 16 hours a day. Totally relate to that. What a freaking head start. My guy's going to be a millionaire by 25. I would not be surprised one bit by that as well. Let's see. Zach, I love it, dude. Treat this business like a business, make it explode and become.
There we go.
Aaron Vogler, what's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, my friend. How are you?
I am doing great. Let me fix the camera a bit. There we go. All right.
Dude, congratulations, my man.
Thank you.
Bro, you even impressed me, and I had high expectations for you, but you even impressed me, and I'm hard to impress. So how did it feel? How did it feel to finally land the deal? Just remind everyone, can you confirm your age, please?
I'm 16.
I love that, dude. 16 years old. What do your parents, let's start there. Let's go right on in. What do your parents think now that you got the deal? And we'll go back into how it was like a process to convince them that this is actually what did they say when you got the deal?
They were impressed. They were excited for me. They've honestly been pretty like hands off with this, like letting me kind of do it, and I've appreciated that. They were excited and impressed, but this is just the beginning now. So once
Yeah.
we hit 10K this year, it's gonna change some things. But yeah,
I want to know in the comments, imagine being 16 years old, making 10 G's a month. I don't even know what I would have done. I was making like $1,000 a year working for my dad for like $2 an hour, I swear. And I was like, somehow felt like I had everything I needed. 10 grand a year, bro. Dude, you're going to be pulling so many girls, dude.
that was really the end goal of this whole thing.
Dude, that's the game. You know, it's so funny, bro, is everyone like I see all these people that are like chasing girls in their 20s and they're dead broke. You want to know the real game? If you're someone that's into that, go get rich in your 20s and your 30s is going to be a freaking smash fest, dude. You will be literally all over the place. It will just be it'll be hands down game over. And I mean like anyone you want. So take my advice there, bro. Don't do it like the average Joe. You're doing it right, bro. Dude's going to be freaking millionaire by the time he's even ready for college. I love it, dude. So how did it feel though? Like you've been grinding, you've been like, how many, I don't even know what we say. You've been on 6 Zoom calls since the new year. How did it feel to finally put that deal down and slay the beast, man?
Yeah. So it felt great, obviously. So in the past, because I've been like making calls and on action and stuff like that since last September. And we had gotten a couple of credit cards, but I didn't count those as real deals because it was negotiated down on price. Didn't even pitch contract. Deals were like canceled the week after like 175, whatever. So those were commission deals, you could probably say, which we all know are not real deals. But this one, we finally got first upfront payment and the contract signed. So this is a real deal.
Yeah, I love it, dude. And just remind us of the deal. So it's $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
And it was in concrete?
It's in concrete, which is really saturated, by the way. So
it's saturated and they were still getting deals. Go figure, bro. So
3-month agreement. Yeah.
3-month agreement, which again, obviously 6 is the game, but 3 is better than 1. And sometimes 3 actually can be good because you can really crush it for 3 months, especially right now, right? May, June, July, these are good months. You crush it for 3 months, wrap them into a year, boom, done, right? What else am I going to ask on that? So $1,500. So let's dig into the deal. How many leads did you send to get the deal?
I sent this guy 5 leads. 1 of 4, he gave estimates to 4. One of them, like, we live transferred. They didn't ever respond after that. Are you good with 5 when he texted him back and I called, so no response. So really 4 leads.
So you sent 4 leads. How over what period of time from call to close?
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure it was a couple weeks. I think it was the 12th of last month actually. And I closed him on the 1st of this month. So it was like a 3-week period.
Because the leads were a little bit slower.
Or 2 weeks. Yeah. Something like that. So 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. I want to talk about this really quick because a lot of people, yes, it's ideal if you can get it, get a contact today, hook them, get them 3-4 leads in a couple of days and close them this same week. I've done that plenty of times, but what Aaron did well, and I know this because he got the deal, is he didn't pigeonhole himself into, hey, I'm going to get you 3 leads in 72 hours and we're going to talk. He said, I'm guessing, hey, let me get you a couple of leads and then we'll talk. It might take a couple of days. It might take a couple of weeks. I want to get you some good ones. And he said, okay, sounds good. Right. And am I wrong there? Or am I?
Nope, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, when you call these business owners and you hook them, if you're worried about the lead flow because your site's not ranking organically and you're not sure that the ads are going to produce, or they've just kind of slowly been spitting, or the area, like I know, for example, where my other houses, my parents live, it's like, it's been snowing until recently. Like it's kind of weird and we never know what's going to happen. So if you're worried about something like that, just don't put yourself in a box. Say, hey, I'm going to get you 3 leads. It's always better to just play it cool. I mean, we have to remember these guys have nothing to compare it to. You're calling them saying, hey, let me get you some free leads. They don't know that you've done it with other people and gotten them 3 leads in a week. They might just think this is just normal. You're getting them a couple leads over the course of a month. So hats off to you. I've had deals like that too. They're not ideal and you kind of have to keep the business owner, engaged, but you did it, bro. And so anyway, I am proud of you because you have been grinding. Most people would have quit by now, bro, and you're still plugging away. How did it feel closing a grown man at $1,500 a month when at your age and the amount of money it takes to live for you? That's basically millionaire status. I mean, what is it like at 16 years old? As long as you can get like potato chips and ketchup and new underwear every couple of weeks, you're clean. You're straight, right?
Mhm.
No, I'm just kidding. But like $1,500 is a lot of money for a 16-year-old kid. How did it feel asking a business owner for $1,600 or $1,500? Grown man.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like that when you get to the close part, that's where it gets a little more nervous. I will say that I was talking with some other members in Digital Landlords, and Spencer Jordan in particular was really helpful with like some of the things he mentioned when we were talking role playing a bit, like make it more conversational. And then you have the tonality, just be conversational. So like those two main things of tonality and then just a back and forth conversation where it's not a big deal. Because that way when you get to it, and of course, assume the close, Amex or Visa, went for it. We had to have a little back and forth to make sure we were set after that. But yeah, I will say that when I was originally pitching deals, I was pitching deals at like $1,000 a month. And of course, I was like, man, that's insane. Like, how in the world? And now these last like 6 deals that I've done, I've pitched to like 1,500. And so the intensity or the like fear of pitching that is like gone so way down. Like I'm almost ready now to do if the numbers make sense, of course, for like $1,750 or $2,000 deals.
Yeah, bro. I am saying hats off. And the reason I wanted to bring that specific point up is a couple of weeks ago when you asked a question or said something and you said you were constantly getting the price objection. And I said, you shouldn't be getting the price objection unless something inside of your head thinks it's expensive. So you clearly have either fixed something or you did something, but you got the deal. Was there any on the specific deal? Was there any hesitation or was it Amex or Visa and he just gave you the card?
It was Amex or Visa, and then afterwards, I think if I'm remembering, I recorded it, but I think he was like wanting to clarify. He asked a couple follow-up questions to that, like, okay, like let me quickly ask, like, are these 12 leads? Because I'd sent him like a small job and then a big job in particular among the 4 leads, and he was asking like, are the majority of those jobs going to be small or big? And I said like it will vary, it'll be an averaged out. And he was like, oh, okay. And so I went back for that, like all I got to do. So I kind of went back for it, which was cool, learning that from you, like. So yeah, man, I'm excited working together. Like I said, all we got to do is get you set up today. So did you say you're an Amex or a Visa? And then that's when you got the card there. So
back for the close. Bro, what
Yeah.
I want you to do is just so I don't forget, when we get off this call, message me and I would love to get your recording and add it to the Digital Landlords vault for all of our members in there to see that full close. So send me a message and let's chat about it.
right.
Okay. So I got about 1 million questions, guys. Just as I'm gonna ask a few questions I personally have. If you have questions for Aaron on the specific deal, on how he overcame, the struggle, on how he did this, that, or the rest, whatever, you guys start piping in your questions in the comments. But I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to try and make sure that we reserve about 15 minutes for questions for Aaron. Okay, so. All right, Aaron, here's a question that I wanted to ask you is because as you mentioned in the beginning, let me just kind of tell basically the shortened version of this story, right? So Aaron popped into the free group, right? We kind of talked about this last time and he started learning about the business model. He was interested and he was very persistent in the watch this, dude. The electricity came. Let's get a little bit of light going. Okay.
Yeah.
He was very persistent. Hold on, just for the sake of the AC. AC, dude. Oh yes. All the little things in these countries. He was very persistent and like, hey, I want to get into the program. I don't have any money, but like what do we got to do? And I remember, like, just so you know, bro, I wasn't annoyed at all. He was very persistent. And I kept saying, like, hey, we'll work something out. But instead of just sitting there, he started taking action. He started doing, he started trying stuff. He started whatever. And through him doing it on his own is when he really saw that, okay, here's the things that I have questions on. Here's the missing pieces. Here's the things that, like, I could see the value in. And so what I want to ask you is, what were some of the biggest questions? Because a lot of people, maybe they're on this call right now, or they're going to watch this call here on YouTube, and they're going to go, okay, cool. I'd love to go try this on my own and see how it goes. And guys, I'm actually, to be honest, not opposed to you guys doing that, because when you go and try it on your own is when you start to value what I'm doing. You don't even know what you don't know. You don't understand that you might lose $1,000 on ads and not even realize what happened. You don't understand that the business owner is going to object on this objection that you never saw coming. You don't know that you went into a niche and whatever. You just don't, there's certain things that you don't know. You don't know that you didn't pick the right city and, oh crap, now I got to go try to rank it and it's too competitive. And so some people, I love this. I get people that say this to me. They're like, yeah, Nick, I'm pretty good at sales. And I've done online marketing. I did it for my mom's cookie shop. And like, I honestly, like, I think that, like, you've outlined it pretty well. I'm going to go try it. I'm like, all right. And I'll honestly tell them, like, if you can go get a deal, and I always say, how fast can you get a deal? And they're like, pretty fast, right? Oh yeah, of course you can. Why not? Right? Of course you can. And so I'm like, well, how fast? He's like, oh, like 2 weeks or a month. And I always say to him, like, okay, cool, guy. If you can get a deal in that amount of time, not only will I give you a slap on the back, but I'll give you half off of my course, or I'll give you it for free, because I know it's a really safe bet. I'm saying all this to say, what were the questions that you immediately had when you started doing it on your own that you're like, oh man, I wish I had some clarification on this?
Yeah. So how we first started off with, when I know we like talked back and forth about the program, because I knew I'd have no idea how to get leads, whether it be ads or web organics or things like that. So I ended up working something out with someone in this space where he'd take more of the, and you know about this, take more of the lead gen side, and I take more of the sales side. And so I definitely had zero knowledge of the technical side. And then as for the sales side, it was just the framework from what you have for your free content, YouTube, the Facebook here. And so just kind of modeling off that. But so I 100% no idea how to do this side. Like, I am with you there. I don't know what a domain is until you start to go into this business. But I literally had questions for everything. Like, I mean, I know it's like, yeah, I didn't really. I think, like I said, I actually got credit cards from your free, which was awesome, like fantastic. But it wasn't solidified. It was really insecure and all that sort of stuff. And you didn't sell this, tell me to say this, but getting to digital landlords like solidifies you in business as long as you're willing to take action and be consistent. And of course, and we're not saying like do it for 2 years, like we should see fast results. Like, even I've been a digital landlord since I wrote down March 4th, and I did everything 0 to close within 2 months. And I even had some hiccups where I was slacking off on due diligence for like a week. And anyway, so the point is, and you didn't tell me to say this, but digital landlords does like literally outline everything. From the tech side and the sales side, those are the 2 main components. And then the community, of course, is invaluable. I definitely attribute a lot of, like, Isaac Cheatham helped. I think it's Isaac Cheatham helped me with some ad stuff, and then Spencer Jordan helped me with some sales stuff, let alone the Fix-It Felix and Fix-It paid ads. So yeah, it's everything.
I was just, so what was the biggest, like, for you, was the biggest learning curve from going from 0 to, okay, I'm going to do this for real? What was the biggest thing that was hardest for you to wrap your head around to actually make it a real thing? What was the hardest part to actually wrap your head around? As somebody who literally 6-8 months ago, had no idea what to do. What was that biggest thing to wrap your head around?
Like to get a deal.
Yeah, to get a deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I do think you do. I think you do. Like you outline it really well. Like you do deliver a lot of free content where you can get deals. And I did again get some credit cards, but in regards to like getting a full deal, 0 to 100% done, it was both, man, because I literally had no idea tech side, and then with the sales side, like how you go over the objections, how you go over the setup. I mean, so the three main, it was everything, man. I'm sorry, I don't have like a exact answer. I guess I don't really have a problem with cold calling or live transferring. I guess the close, the Zoom close, we're wrapping it up, and like how do you actually then get them to trust you and get the credit card? And so, and believing that in yourself. And so, yeah, I guess probably the close was the big one. Like it's go time now. Like anybody will take free leads, but like getting the close is the main part.
It's interesting. I always say to people that are like, yeah, I'm really good at sales. I've been doing sales. And I'm like, look, dude, I sold door to door for 4 years. I sold software that wasn't even built. I sold SEO. I sold all this stuff. Figuring out how to sell a flat fee deal on a pre-sale is another beast in and of itself. So again, back to my point, guys, if you're somebody who's like, yeah, I think I could do this. If that even has crossed your mind, I invite you to go and do it on your own so that you will appreciate, oh my gosh, I don't even know what should I put as the ad copy? What should I do here? What should be my budget? What should be why should I do this? Why should I do, what's a good city? What's a good volume on this? How do I know about, like, there's just so many little tiny things that you don't even know. That's just to get the deal. And then of course, after the deal, how do you make sure the client's retained? What do you do if the ads start to drop off? What do you do to make sure the site's ranked organically? How do you speed it up with backlinks? Like there's so many like unknowns, but anyway, bro, I love this. I can't believe. So that was Wednesday. What day did you actually get the deal?
It was wait, was it? I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was the first.
Oh, you got it like 4 days after. What was the biggest thing that you took away? Because obviously, based on what you're saying, you already had this guy hooked, but you were just waiting for leads to come in. But like, what was the biggest takeaway you had from our conversation last week? Or was it just a matter of like doing more reps, or was there anything specific that was clarified for you when we talked last week? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would say that with this particular guy, he was somewhat of a laydown. Like I think he was I found a good guy, and that just comes with putting in reps. But in regards to like what we talked about, probably the biggest thing, and I really went over this after we were done, is how you were talking about you need to have conviction and get sold on. It's how you're saying it. And so that was really big. And then that was exactly in line with, I talked with Spencer either before or after that. And he was saying the same thing. Cause I mean, we have the scripts and which are perfect. And we need to though, express the scripts or use the scripts in a real way. And again, we're not selling a scam, but we need to believe it ourselves and not be so insecure, and be able to say it with confidence.
Totally.
Yeah.
Good. You know what I love about Aaron, everyone that's listening, is he reminds me of a kid when I was doing door-to-door sales, and we got somehow this kid came out for the summer, and this kid was such a sponge. He was at every meeting, if he sold that, because we would have meetings. If you didn't sell a deal, you had to come to the meeting. So if you didn't sell, even if he sold, he would be at the meeting. He was asking questions. He was on the front row. He was reading books. The kid was asking you so many questions. You're like, damn, dude, this kid, like you're really a sponge. And that kid, he went from, barely even knowing what sales was to, there was 1 week the kid almost outsold me. And if it weren't for my sheer pride, he probably would have. He started talking smack to me at Subway. We were at Subway one day, which I long since stopped eating when I found out they put, real life babies in their sandwiches. I'm just kidding. But we were at Subway and he was like talking trash. He's like, hey man, how many deals you got this week? And I'm like, oh dude, there's no way I'm letting this guy beat me. And I beat him. But the point I want to bring out is like, dude, I've been watching you. You have been on every single, you have probably milked every drop of content that I have put out. I think you've watched every video, you've watched every live, you're on every single one of the Dre Show episodes. I see you on these calls. I see you on all of our digital landlords calls. I see you commenting. I see you connecting. I see you reading through posts, and like, I am not surprised that you got your deal. And I think this is just the very, very, very beginning. But guys, if you're watching this right now, the biggest thing I'm learning from Aaron is like being a sponge, being teachable, being like humble enough to realize, hey, I don't know everything and I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to try and get mentored and I'm going to try and, get close to people that are doing big things will bring you loads of success. And the older that you get, the harder that becomes to do because you're like, you kind of have this pride. But I don't care how successful you are at selling medical devices. I don't care how successful you are at your drop shipping company or your venture capital firm you're running. This is a new industry, man. This is completely different. And so if you're in this brand new and you're like, man, where should I start? Be a sponge, soak in the free content, reach out to people, ask questions, give value, get on the live. Like, anyway, I just giving you a shout out, bro, because I've been very impressed. I've watched you very closely. And also, you've been really optimistic and really had good energy, even when you lost 6 Zoom calls. Most people lose 2 and they're starting to go, well, I don't know if this is for me. You got on 6 and you couldn't have been more cheery and excited when you talked last week. And here we go. Now you got a deal. Now you get another one, So how do you stay positive when you're getting those no's, especially when you're 16 years old? Like, how do you actually do that?
Sure. So I kind of have recently, so the whole mindset or attitude or perspective sort of thing can get a little cliche and I think a little woo-woo and ridiculous, but kind of the more I'm going into this, the more I see how incredibly important your perspective is. Because like your thinking impacts your actions and your actions impact your results. And so from this, like kind of the prevailing mentality has been every time I quote unquote fail, I'm moving forward. And that every time I hop on a Zoom call, whether just it doesn't go well, bad prospecting, maybe the business owner is not that great, maybe it was my fault, and just putting in the reps. And like, that's where the success is. It's detaching yourself from, I want the results right here, right now. And that seeing the trajectory of the journey, like I'm getting better at sales, getting better at communicating, learning more how to generate leads, all this sorts of stuff. And so it was like, I knew like, and not that you should bang your head against a wall. Like if you need to make an adjustment, like that's fine. But overall, what we have here, particularly with this business model, it works. And so just being consistent to, it's like how you kind of interpret or how you label things that happen. So when you hop off of a Zoom call with a guy, even if you blew it, I'm not saying you should like use this as an excuse to feel better, but if you just label it as like, no, that's okay. Like find out what you did wrong so you can get the success. That's where it is. Don't trick your mind. And if you're in a bad place where everything's okay, but wherever you're at, as long as you're moving forward, that if you label or interpret things in a positive way, it's getting me forward. That was disappointing, that hurt, whatever. But not only does it help you to enjoy the present moment more, but I also think it actually gets you better results later on. So
cool. And for anybody that is 16 years old or 18 or 20 or any of us, but especially in that kind of range, like I think you can see how impressive it is that you are so focused on this. I think it's really cool. So I got to jump into some of these questions in kind of line with that is TC Loft. TC Loft, I'm not sure how you snuck in our group, to be honest with you, with no profile picture. I'm gonna have to investigate that. But nonetheless, you're on the call and I appreciate your comments, but I'm not sure why you got in, how you got in. 16, he says 16 though. Shouldn't you be in school, Aaron? Aaron, are you going to school or what's going on, bro? How are you at home right now? Did you get a little sluffy sluff today?
I am homeschooled.
Even
So
better. Okay. There we go. And you know what's funny? That used to be so rare. That's getting really common now. That's not out, some outlandish thing like 20 years ago. You're like, oh, that guy was homeschooled. You're like, oh, he's, now that's like very common.
Yeah.
We actually have friends that live in, I wouldn't say it's super close friends, but I'd say an acquaintance that just moved their family to Ghana, which is a different country, and they're homeschooling their kids. So because of that, you have autonomy of time and are able to work on your schedule, essentially, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's nice.
Amazing. Okay, great. TC Loft said, how did you pick this guy, Aaron? Did you go to other guys first and get no's? Where did you find him? So obviously we at TC Loft must not have been on the call last week, but Aaron has been grinding. He's been asking for money. He's been hustling. And I'm assuming that this is someone that was paying for advertising.
Home Advisor.
Home Advisor, baby. Amazing. Now, how much was he paying for Home Advisor, or was he one of those people that was on Home Advisor and has since canceled?
Yeah, he canceled it like the week before I hopped on the Zoom close with him.
Amazing. So he was prepped and ready, but so to answer your question, TC Loft, he picked him because he was already sold on advertising. The guy was already paying for Home Advisor. And if you're already paying for Home Advisor, you're sold on paying for leads, and you're paying for leads that are shared with 3, 4, 5, 7 other people. And most people aren't happy about it. So that's where he picked that guy. Okay, let's keep going here. Sandy said, well, I changed my mentality from afraid of calling to just doing it and learning a simple script. And I am selling results, not services. Shout out to Sandy, because last call, I specifically remember Sandy going, hey, what do you do if you don't want to do the sales? It's just a preference. We don't want to do it. I'm not interested in doing it. And I think I posed the question, why would you give up half of your business, half of your revenue, because you don't want to do something that, yes, is uncomfortable, but you can gain half the revenue, you get the other half of the revenue. So shout out to you, Sandy. Guys, hopefully you understand this. To this day, I've been doing sales for a long time. I still do not like doing prospecting calls. Yeah. Aaron, I would assume that given the option, you probably wouldn't, as your first choice of activity, choose picking up the phone and calling random grown men and basically running the risk of getting trashed on the phone. Like, it's probably not your first priority or activity you'd put at the top of your list, right?
I'd agree with you. Dude, I still feel it's definitely not as bad, but I still feel a little queasy and like borderline sick, like not to that extent, but like, yeah, just mentally. But I guess on a quick note with that, and with Sandy as well, or others, but even for myself, what's interesting about sales in this though is that it's 100% mental. It really is. And again, I don't like to get to like all the mind stuff, whatever. You got to take action, but the fear of sales or that, it's literally the only thing holding you back. A lot of people from taking action, not that even if it's perfect action, but just putting in reps, just dialing numbers, is literally a fear that like you're going to get cursed out or whatever on a call. Like that's literally the worst case scenario. And if that happens to me, I'd probably still be a little shook up or something. But it's just a mental game where you just gotta either choose to or choose not to.
It sounds like it's a cop-out answer, but like I never, when I was doing door-to-door sales, I never one day was like, I'm excited to go and knock on the door and have somebody be rude to me, call me the F word, spit on me, pull a gun on me, call the police on me. I never got excited to do that, right? But it was a necessary part for me to get to the close in order to close the deal, which I was doing because it's how I provided for my family. It's how I was buying, trying to buy. I ended up buying a couple houses with it. Like, I mean, good or bad, I'm just being straight with you. You're probably never going to love prospecting calls. And if you do, you have a genetic disorder, which is the greatest blessing your parents ever did for you, because very few people, I know a couple that have like this screw loose and they actually do like it, or they say they do and they've convinced me they do, but like I still hate prospect. I love closing, but I hate prospecting calls. Anyway, Pierce says, when prospecting for clients, I feel like I keep giving these leads to business owners that aren't super serious. Is that just where I need to pull back or something else? Last call I got railroaded, and he said, since he is eating lunch currently, just send him the lead info and he will chase them down. Please talk about this.
Yeah, actually, this is something I was kind of running into, and I'll admit, when I said I hopped on 6 Zooms or 7 Zooms, now 8 if you count the close for this year. Some of those guys I shouldn't have hopped on with. It was just a bad qualifying job on my end.
Right.
And so kind of and so I didn't really realize this, but some guys like, they just like, if they're fine where they're at, especially if they're like older guys, they more referrals, maybe get a couple jobs on Home Advisor. Like if they're fine where they at, there isn't really any reason for them to pay for your leads. If they're just doing like $200 a month, they're fine. They're going to retire in 3 years, whatever.
Right.
And so that's where going into when you're talking with guys, I've been starting to ask qualifying questions, and I actually did this with the guy I closed. And I actually got this from like Tim Johnson. He was helping with that. And then also Fix It Felix had a list of questions that like he asked to qualify, where you can either do on the cold call or like after the first lead is sent. Now you got to be careful because you don't want to lose the guy on the hook because you are asking too many questions or sound scammy, whatever. So you still want to keep the guy on the hook. But if you can ask questions as soon as possible in just a conversational way, you're able to know if he's going to be a good fit or not. Because if he says like, you know, I do concrete, but I mainly do asphalt, or I have a buddy who takes concrete jobs. This happened to me on one of the Zoom closes I hopped on. The guy he wasn't even getting concrete leads. He was on Home Advisor, but like, and I think he showed, but he said that he like turned those off. He was getting more like asphalt or excavation leads. So if I'd known that from day one, I could have saved like a week or two and 3 to 4 leads of worth of time. And like asking insurance, licensed, how long in business, stuff like that. And also another cool thing about that is not only does it eliminate the guys you shouldn't continue with, but it also kind of like puts you in more of a position of control. And Tim Johnson had used the phrase like, they know if they pass the old sniff test, they're going to get a couple free leads on the back end. So instead of me asking, will you take my free leads? It's more like, I'll give you some free jobs. First, can I ask a couple questions just to make sure we're not wasting each other's time? And then like, okay, I want to answer these hopefully well, and then I'll get some free jobs and we'll talk. So
what a lot of times when we're just getting into this, we're starting to call business owners and we haven't been doing this. We get so nervous because we're like, well, this person's kind of showing interest. And it was so scary to call them. And they're like, they're saying yes to some free leads. And so we don't want to ask the hard questions. We don't want to, it's almost like we don't want to ask because we might get the answer that we're afraid of, right?
yeah.
Totally. I've done it.
That's so true.
Yeah. You call them and they're like, you're like, can I give you a couple of free leads and we can talk, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you're like, dude, this guy's way too, yeah. There's something off, but I don't really want to ask because then if I ask, what if he says he's really not interested? Like, it's this weird mind game. But what you'll understand is that you can be pretty blunt with people and they'll actually respect it. You say, hey, I want to give you this job, but I do want to know, like, are you actually interested in growing? Are you interested in continuing to scale, or do you just like wasting money with Home Advisor? Because not to be rude, Mr. Business Owner, but I'm going to send you these jobs, but I do plan on working something out. I hope we can. I'm not running a nonprofit. I'm not just a charitable guy. I'm willing to give you these to test out, but I do want to have a conversation. So if you're just going to ghost me and not answer my calls, just save us both the time, dude. Are we good? Are you going to answer my calls like these leads that I send you? Or are you just trying to make me not feel bad?
So good. Yeah.
I've said, in fact, I just I was just on the phone with Isaac, our video editor, and we have a brand new video in the vault that is on me calling a lead or a business owner, and he's going, yep. And I literally said almost verbatim what I just said. And I'm like, bro, are you just like, you think I'm going to feel bad? Because I'm a big boy. I'll sleep fine, but don't waste my time, So, who asked that? Pierce. Pierce, don't be afraid to say it how it is. Don't be afraid to, if you're not sure they're following you, to heat check them and to do a pullback and say, hey, if you feel like you're trying to do me a favor here, trust me, I got plenty of people that want these leads. Do you want to grow or not? Because I can send these elsewhere. You're not just helping me out. I'm giving you free job. So we just have to be very blunt with these people. That's the easiest way I've seen, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael says, Aaron, are you focusing on one service? Are your calls to people in your area?
We're focused on concrete right now. And then, yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Gary says, Aaron, were there or are there common BO denials that helped you polish how you go after the next business owner? I think we talked about this last time. I think you kept getting the same objections. You were getting price and what was the other thing that you were getting? You were getting price and what was the other one?
It was a credibility objection, which is not an issue anymore. I'm happy to say. That's 100% been eliminated. It was how I was approaching it. Like, dude, it was so bad. My gosh. But yeah.
How remind us really quick what the credibility issue you were getting was. People were just saying,
so on the Zoom, the guy was asking, like, do you have any clients I could talk to? Number one. Well, actually, they both had said that. And they'd asked, like, how long have you been in? And it was like, oh, shoot. And yeah, it was just a mess. Those two Zooms that happened.
So how did you overcome it? Because you closed the deal without having a deal. How did you overcome it, to follow up on Gary's question?
Yeah, so I overcame up the credibility objection. Really, it was an internal thing. It was a conviction problem. Like, it was and we had talked about this, like, well, how can a 16-year-old ask like a 45-year-old, a guy, like $1,500 a month? Like, that's where the leads, I was selling myself on the value I'm providing, and the leads doing the selling, and I was more confident. And the more reps also you put in, the more confident you get with putting in the next set of reps, which can also increase the quality of those reps. And it just compounds the more you do it. And so I think that really selling myself on the value was a big credibility thing. That was important.
I think I said this last call, and I can't remember who said this, but you don't have to convince people to believe in what you're selling. You just have to convince people that you believe in what you're selling, and the deal will take place. And so that's it, man. Is if you have 100% conviction that that's going to work out, they're going to sense it. They're going to feel it. And it's going to come across in the way that you say it and how you say it and the questions you ask. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay. Pierce said, gotcha. I think I haven't made enough calls to actually find a hungry business owner. Yeah, you probably haven't, Pierce. It depends. How many have you talked to? How many have you hooked? Gold, Aaron, more gold. Adele says, what happened after you were blunt with him?
With some of these business owners, or
I think with this specific one that we're referring to, like unless he's talking to me. What I found that happens when you're blunt with people is this. When you're blunt with people on the phone, the people that were never coming along with you anyway, you're giving them a chance to just tell you, and they fall off. And the people that were coming along with you, they come closer. So a lot of people get scared to make people make a decision on a phone call. And they're like, I'm going to lose the deal. I'm going to lose the deal. You are going to lose it anyway, dude. You get scared to ask somebody if they're actually serious. If you say to them, hey, are you actually interested in growing? Or are you just like telling me yes because you think it's going to make me feel good? If they weren't ever going to follow you anyway, that's a perfect opportunity for them to go, well, it's not that I'm not interested. It's just that we got a lot coming up and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to just check their way out because they're not going to want to feel like they wasted your time. The people that were serious, that maybe they were busy, distracted, or maybe they just sounded like they were yanking your chain, and you say, hey, are you actually serious? They're going to go, yeah, no, I'm very serious. I talked to my partner recently. It's something that's been on our list. that pullback is going to do two things. It's going to push away the people that weren't coming along, and it's going to draw nearer the people that were coming along. It's basically a way for you to differentiate between the two. So when you're blunt with people, as long as they are understanding what you're doing and you're not saying some weird pitch of you're a college student with some project, blah, 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 which I've heard people say, you pretend like you don't know where, like some dumbass, as long as you're not doing that, you doing a pullback is the move.
Yeah, I will just following up with that quickly that, yeah, it's so important. I've been starting to ask these questions. Do they want more jobs and can they handle more jobs? Because if they can't handle them, if they're a single guy, there's no reason for them to pay $1,500 a month. If they don't want more jobs, there's no incentive for them to pay $1,500 a month.
Facts. Do they want and can they handle? That's really good. One more question. TC Loft, how did you know he left Home Advisor? Is there a way to search that, or was it just good timing? I'm pretty sure when you called him originally, he was still with Home Advisor.
Yeah, he had actually told me when I talked about leads, because I actually did somewhat of a discovery call on the cold call. And so we talked and he was like, yeah, man, Home Advisor, like, are you like Home Advisor? Because I don't like Home Advisor. I'm going to stop Home Advisor. And so I kind of knew that he was, which was good for me because he's a little upset with Home Advisor. He wants more leads. He's looking to grow. So he's just trying to find a good option. So we're actually coming in as the saviors here. And so that's something also that really helps with conviction and value that we're providing. And so then when we talked on the close, I'd follow up with like, so did you say you ended up canceling Home Advisors? Like, yeah, last week I stopped it for good. So yeah.
You just got to ask them. There's not really a way to tell if they're currently paying or not that I've been able to find. Last one really quick, and then I want to end with one comment. Jakob says, do you call before you go in an area to find out if there's anyone hungry, or after you get a lead? Have you gotten to that stage yet, or are you still waiting until you get leads coming in?
So far, I've just, once I get a lead, I have my list already ready and I just go through and get a guy on the hook pretty quickly. So not yet. I know some members do both and it seems like they both work.
Here's my opinion on that. If you have a setter that you're paying a salary to that's already on the clock, I used to have my setter doing this. They're calling, but if it's my time that's super valuable, I'm not going to call without a lead because I want to be the most effective with my time. So I would say that, because here's the thing is, if you call around, yes, you can hook somebody. But the thing that I found is like when you call, you just have so much more conviction. You sound so much more believable because you know a zip code, you know a name, you know the job description. It just sounds legit. And if not, you're calling saying, hey, I'm getting leads in this area, instead of, hey, I got Susan who needs her patio board at XYZ zip code. And they're like, oh, that's a real job, right?
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents. Okay. Guys,
Okay.
my hope is this. And this is what I was saying to somebody earlier. Aaron Vogler is 16 years old. He has zero, as of last September, he's never done SEO. He has no tech experience. He doesn't have a job and he doesn't have experience in corporate America or law school. He's never done sales. By all means, he is just a regular average kid, actually, not even a man yet. You're coming, bro. And you don't need to be an age to be a man, but you're getting there. Why are some of us in this group that have been here 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, still not getting deals, still not taking action, still not moving the needle towards our goals, towards our dream? I hope this inspires some of you. And I also hope some of you guys get a little pissed off and go, all right, nothing against you, Aaron, but that kind of pisses me off. If you're 16 years old and you can do it, I can do it. Let this inspire you. Let this piss you off, because I could tell you what, if I was trying to get into a business and I wasn't getting a deal and I saw some 16-year-old kid that just zoomed in and started slapping deals, I would piss me off. And I'd say, all right, that's it. Let's go. Come on, Nick. That's enough. That's enough messing around. It's enough dinking around. This kid can do it. I can do it. The leads, if you do the process correctly, if you send the leads, they will do the selling for you. And what I love about this entire story is that you knew nothing about this model. You knew nothing about sales. You have everything stacked against you on paper. You're young, you don't have sales experience, you don't have tech experience, all the things, right? And you're still freaking doing it. And what's funny is there's going to be somebody that's on this call going, yeah, but Aaron's homeschooled, so he has a lot of time. It's like, there's always going to be an excuse, like, not to mention that you're 16 years old, not to mention that you're asking grown men for money, not to mention you have no sales experience, but they're going to say you have time. Anyway, I would say it's harder and more impressive that Aaron is finding and making the time, because when you're 16 years old, it's really easy to go, dude, I'm 16 years old. I should just be living my life. Right. So anyway, Aaron, let's see. I've got anything else here. We got some other questions. Aaron, I know you'll do this. When we hop off, I'd like you to go in, and if you can, comment and let these guys know the answers. But do you have any final words that you want to share on this call with those listening that may are listening right now, maybe listening in the future? Anything? You don't
Sure.
You don't?
Yeah. I guess I would say that, and I know you had talked about this a couple weeks ago on a Digital Landlords Live, but the more that I've kind of been going into this, the more I realized in order to have success, or at least lots of success, hopefully quickly, and I'm definitely not there yet. I personally think I should be farther along than where I am just with all the Zoom calls I've been on, but I'm thankful for where I'm at and continuing to go. But having a 100% ownership mentality or way of being or mode of operations is so big. And with that is like, you don't deserve anything from anyone ever. And then 2, everything is on you. And so you can either let that, if you choose to, like, that's a choice if you want to operate in that. And I definitely don't do it perfectly, but that can either kind of like depress you and bring you down, and which might actually cause you to, like, I don't know, like get depressed and not take good action, or that can almost free you. So it's like, you know what? No, it is on me. It's okay. Like, I've hopped on calls with business owners that I know I've blamed them. Like, he did this and that's why that didn't work out, trying to justify early on for my own insecurities and my own problems, like that's why that didn't work out. But now it's like, no, either that's part of the process, or like if I'd done it differently. So you don't deserve anything, and everything's on you. Don't let like bring you down and get you depressed, but it actually frees you to like, no, I can do this. Like, I'm going to learn it, even if it takes 3 months, 6 months, which is not a lot of time. It just specifically in this business model. So that's been helpful.
Love it, bro. Dude, hats off to you, man. I know after we finally figured out a way that we worked together and I was able to get you into the program, I said to Ashley and Kyle too, I said, I like this kid. I know he's going to be successful. I know he's only 16. But this kid's going to make it. And so I'm not surprised. I hope you don't think I'm surprised. I'm excited, man. And the best part is, now you got one deal, you got the momentum. So now's the time to go at 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and every single one of these deals you get, I hope it stings every one of the adults in this on this call that are making excuses and as to why they haven't gotten their 1st, 2nd, or 3rd deal. So Mr. Aaron Vogler, thank you very much, my friend. And we will talk very soon.
Thank you.